Welcome to episode 120 of Throwback Hoops. My name is Rob Clayton, and joining me as always is none other than Woody V.
What's going on, man? Good to see your boy, Big Cat, step up a little bit today, huh?
That's it. I'm going to talk about him a little bit. I'm excited about that. So look, before we introduce our special guest, just a reminder, please make sure you like, rate and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to your audio podcasts. Please make sure you like, rate and subscribe as always. And Woods, I know we're pumped to have another special guest on the show. Someone we've had on the show several times now. I was thinking today, is this the third or the fourth time?
Maybe.
Fourth time, okay. Look, it's just fifth. Wow. Well, look, I'm going to say it's a special guest, but also someone that we're absolutely honoured to call this guy a friend and a mate. So it's a huge welcome back to the show for Stuart Chalmers.
Appreciate you having me on, boys. Always a pleasure to chop it up, and good to chat about all things basketball.
That's probably the only time I'll call you Stuart. That felt a bit formal there, so we'll go back to Stu or Disco Stu or Super Nintendo Chalmers or one of those sort of ones. But great to have you back, mate. Loving the array of jerseys and colours and everything we've got today. So looking forward to go through this. So who will we start with? Maybe we'll start with Woods.
Well, Robbie, before we kick off things, for those who haven't listened to the show, we've also got to say that Stuart Chalmers is one part of the Sport Blokes, right?
Yeah.
The Sport Blokes podcast. Sure. With Nathan as well. So just wanted to point that out.
Shout out to Nath. We know Nath's, he's got you pipped with the hair and the voice though, Stu. I think you'd be the first to admit that, right?
Absolutely. I would, I'd never challenge him to a voice off. The dude is a natural.
No, for sure. All right, nice one. Well, take us away, Woods. I see you're rocking a pretty random one. I can't quite pick that one at the moment. What are you doing? Come on, what's going on?
Isn't it tradition for the guest to go first?
Hey, am I hosting or are you hosting?
Okay, all right.
Show us what you got. Show us what you got.
Man. Okay, show.
Woods is standing up, rocking a bit of a random one today. Big State, number 34. I don't think I've seen this one. Wow. And Jesus Shuttlesworth. That's not one I've seen before, Woods. Is this a new one or one you've had hidden away for a while? Or?
I've had it for a while, and I was going through my collection, and I was like 25 years since Game got released, and there's a little bit of talk of a new movie coming out and whatnot. So I thought, let me do something different, right? So maybe I'll throw a few things out there, right? I mean, what does the movie mean to you guys, right? It's a part of popular culture, basketball history. What does the movie mean to you guys?
Stu?
Well, I mean, it's not really usually the sort of music that I listen to a lot, but the He Got Game soundtrack is probably unrivaled as far as just the pure quality. That Public Enemy from start to finish, it's iconic. Obviously, an incredible movie. And often you find in basketball films, the people that are playing basketball maybe don't have the skill set as well. So having a guy like Ray Allen, who is just an all-time baller, having him actually being the guy playing hoops is just it's great. It adds so much depth to the overall movie, and obviously a lot of the actors that they've got playing those other parts are just top caliber.
No, good call. And you're right. I mean, we've seen guys like Wesley Snipes, who definitely wasn't a basketballer playing in White Men Can't Jump. So is that the rumours in Woods? They are going to be making a remake? Or?
There's talk of it, right? It's not come to fruition yet, but it would be great. And I mean, just a little bit. I mean, Jesus Shuttlesworth, played by Ray Allen, iconic character in basketball movies, and he did a great job, I thought. And before he actually got the role, Spike Lee went to 3 different people and tried to get them to also audition for the role. Can you name the 3?
Wesley Snipes?
No, three basketball players.
Oh, right.
Jesus, yeah.
Okay. 25 years ago. Household names or?
Yeah, household names.
Okay.
Right, so Tracy McGrady.
Okay, yeah.
Kevin Garnett and Kobe Bryant. And
I was going to say Kobe. Okay, nice. Yeah.
All 3 were declined, and then Ray Allen they didn't make the deep run in the playoffs, so he reached out to Spike and said, "I'd like to."
Fourth choice.
Actually, Walter McCarty, Travis Best, they also wanted the role as well, right? And Spike Lee gave them bit part roles in the movie as well. So if you watch the movie back, you'll see Walter McCarty and Travis Best in there. And who was the character loosely based on, Another guy from Coney Island.
Kenny Anderson?
Nah. Stephon Marbury.
Oh,
Right?
yeah, of course, yeah.
And
Yeah.
there's an actual famous line in the movie where, Jesus is talking to someone and the guy's like, no one from Coney Island's ever made it. They always get into hustling or, they disappear. And then Jesus goes, Stephon Marbury made it, right? And, so it was loosely based on him. And yeah, just 25 years since the movie. And as you said, Robbie, it would be nice if they did a reboot of it with Denzel and maybe Ray Allen's old now. And they, I think Rosario Dawson was in it and stuff. So it was a great cast. Rick Fox was in it for a little bit. So I just watched it not so long ago. So
I'll probably need to do a rewatch, actually. I might put that on the list there. Yeah, nice.
And great soundtrack, as you said, Stewie. All Public Enemy songs.
Isn't it incredible, though, that they've got Ray Allen supposedly portraying Stephon Marbury when those two were traded for each other on draft day?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that is a bit uncanny, isn't it?
Yeah.
Jeez. Nice. Well, Stu, we'll throw over to you, mate. So I see we're both rocking a bit of a T-Wolves theme today, and why not after that win today? So who you got for us today?
Yeah, so we've got Fred Hoiberg in the back. Now, obviously, it's a Karl-Anthony Towns there, but I've gone something a little bit different. I've gone with this is the 2018, this is the Prince edition T-Wolves Derrick Rose jersey. So they put out this beautiful jersey after Prince passed away, and Prince grew up in Minneapolis. So they wanted to honour the life and career of an amazing musician with these absolutely gorgeous sort of purple infused jerseys.
Hey, Stu, unless that one's a really good fake, that's like a real legit one, because any of the NBA jerseys with the actual sponsors on, like we can see the Fitbit sponsor on that. So do you know the sort of origins of where this one came from? Or?
This is so random. So both of these jerseys, when I was in Hobart traveling around with my family, I actually went to, there was a Salvo store right across the road from the hotel we were staying at, and a good friend of ours basically lives his life in these places and has great success finding things. And I thought, I'll just duck the head in and have a look. They had 5 of these jerseys. So 3 Karl-Anthony Towns, the Derrick Rose, and I think it was a Kevin Garnett, $10 a piece.
Wow. So obviously a T-Wolves fan had gone into that Salvos and got rid of half his collection there. So I'm loving that one. Yeah, nice colours. Like you said, the Prince edition, it's definitely a pretty random one, that one. When I first saw it, I was thinking, is that Al Jefferson? But yeah, you always sort of think of other numbers of players that play for those teams. So, no, I'm loving that one. Look, we'll talk a little bit more about the T-Wolves. So I'll quickly show you the one I'm rocking as well, keeping the big cat theme going there. I'll just show this one now.
So no doubt, the jersey Robbie is rocking today, the second Karl-Anthony Towns jersey on episode 120 of Throwback Hoops.
Hey, Stu, by the way, what do you reckon of the new background?
Mate, it's an upgrade, definitely.
There's a bit going on there. I'm only doing the one jersey, but yeah, I thought it.
I think the fact that you can display that ridiculous collection of, the bobbleheads, obviously, like I can't remember what the name of the toys are, but you've got hundreds of those things as well.
There is quite a few of those. Thousands of those, some could even say. Yeah. No, thanks, mate. Well, look, just a little bit on Big Cat. So, as probably anyone that listens to this knows, he's one of my favourite players. I'd say he could even be my second or third favourite player in the NBA. So, a pretty high up on my list there. So, he was drafted at pick 1 in the 2015 NBA draft. So, he's been with the Wolves for a long time now. He's building up a very nice resume. 4-time All-Star, Rookie of the Year. He's got 2 NBA third teams. And of course, the big man won the 2022 three-point comp, which is always one of my favourite ones. So, Stu, I know you like a bit of trivia without notice on the Sports Blokes podcast. So I'm going to throw one at you for both of you guys. So, as I mentioned, Cat was the first pick in the 2015 NBA draft. Amazingly enough, 7 of that top 10 in that draft are no longer in the league. Can you guys, between you, name those 7 players? Woody's worn a jersey of one of them on the show, but yeah, we've got 7 there.
I'm terrible with 2015. I'm not going to lie. Not a good draft for me.
Woods, you were an Orlando Magic one of one of these guys?
Yeah, okay, so definitely Super Mario Hezonja.
Yep.
Oh, man, I'm just trying to think who else was in that draft.
What other clues can I give you? One of them had a name. One of them had a namesake that played in the NBA for a while as well, but this is a Nigerian sounding name, I believe. He was very high up as well in the draft.
Jahil Okafor?
correct? That's 2. So you got 5 more to go. Come on, you got to get a few more of these 5. So, what are we talking here?
Is that Willie Colley Stein in that one?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Woods is on fire. Yeah, come on, Stu. You got to catch up to him here.
I'm letting myself down, honestly. I'm letting myself
that
down.
Denver Nuggets guy that never amounted to anything, and then he went to Utah afterwards.
Went to Utah, yeah.
Having a blank.
Yes, correct.
Yeah. There you go.
Merdier,
Right.
yeah. All right, you guys are doing great. So we've got 3 more to go. These are probably a little bit harder. I think this is maybe the 7th, the 9th, and the 10th. But look, one of them's got a great nickname. Frank the Tank, yeah, great nickname. Then we've got 2 more. So one of them was a bit of a journeyman. I think he was still maybe in the league a year or so ago. And one of them was someone that, I'll give you the team, was a Miami Heat player that they looked like they never wanted to trade, and they eventually got rid of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Justice Winslow.
Yeah. So we've got one.
I was going to say, Dookie.
One more to go. That's it. So this guy, look, he's played for a few teams. I remember him. He's played for Detroit, Lakers, Toronto, Stanley Johnson. Yep. So interesting draft. That 7 of those top 10 are long gone. Yep. Even more interesting is there's 2 guys that were drafted after all 7 of those players that have turned out to be great players, and that's Miles Turner and one of Stu's favourites, I know, Devin Booker. So,
Rozier's on that draft as well, maybe.
Yeah, Rozier was there. Yep. So it's an interesting draft when you look at it. There's a few Aussie contingents there. There was Tyler Harvey was drafted. What's his name? JP Tokoto, who actually met his father, didn't we, Woods, in Atlanta, which was amazing. So, a bit of an interesting draft, but I always love just chucking some trivia in there. So, nice one, fellas. Well, some good range of jerseys today. Woods, you definitely pulled out one that I didn't know you had there.
Yeah, thanks, man. I thought left field.
Just quickly, Robbie, there's also another player from that draft, the world's most attractive man, Kelly Oubre.
Oh, yes, that's true. Yes. That's true. Yeah.
Nice, you're right. So, his name comes up a bit on this show, doesn't it? Shout out to Kelly Oubre. So, all right, fellas. Well, look, we've got a bit we want to talk about. We especially want to talk some NBA playoffs, but I thought we'd start off the show this week with sort of recapping our NBA predictions. So, those will remember, Stu did an amazing job filling in for Woods, and potentially even had Woods a chance of being fired from this podcast when he was away last year. So, Stu stepped in, did a great job, and we actually went through our NBA season predictions. So, it's always a hard exercise to do, but I think every year we've done this show, we've been very honest, right? We've always come back and recapped our predictions. So we're not going to hide. I know we've all had a few shockers this year. There's a couple of teams playing now in the West that Stu and I both didn't have one of them even making the play-in. So that will come up there. Looking through these predictions, and I'll go through them a little bit. Probably Woods is winning, I'd say, which is shout out to you there, Woods. You've had some good predictions. But let me go through the ones we spoke about. So I believe we did this when you went away, like start of October, didn't you, last year, Wood? So we must have done it just, maybe that first week of October. So recapping what we've got here. So we'll start off with the MVP, the one that people always sort of talk about. So we know that the Joker won it. So Stu, shout out. You're the only one that got the Joker. So Stu's off to a great start. Woods, you had Jason Tatum. I had Giannis. So, look, they weren't terrible picks, I guess, there. I think they were maybe 4th and 5th, if I'm not mistaken, after Luka and SGA in the top 5 voting there. So not too bad, but a very good prediction there by Stu. All NBA. So we did the first team there. Woods, start patting yourself on the back, mate. You got all 5 correct, which I thought was a pretty bloody good effort. So just recapping that all NBA first team. So Luka, SGA, Jason Tatum, Giannis, and the Joker. So pretty great effort there by Woods, and he's pretty pleased with himself. Have a look at him. So getting all 5. Stu, you got 4, so you weren't far off there. So the only one you got wrong, you left your boy SGA out, and you picked Curry there. So that was the only one you got wrong. I got that front court right in Tatum, Giannis, and Joker. I was a bit off on my guards, though, so I had Curry and Booker. So, look, not terrible picks. They both, did make, I think, the second team, maybe third for Booker there. But, so, Woods, great effort there. I think anyone that can predict all 5 of those, and I don't think any of us have done that in the predictions so far. So, anyone got any comments so far?
I'll tell you what, when I was sitting in my hotel room, wherever it was in the world, I was listening to that podcast, and Stu left his boy SGA off. I was extremely surprised, man. So, looking back,
I didn't want to have the Homer hat on too early, man, because I had that one pick with Digonol. So I just,
we've got another. We've got an OKC theme one coming up, which I think Stu will be happy that he kind of got this prediction wrong. But so, all right. So, look, these are, I guess, the two that are still going there. So we'll talk about, none of us are going to get these ones. So in terms of conference finals, so we know obviously it's Celtics who have beaten the Pacers and then the Wolves and Mavs. So in the East, Woods, you had the Bucks beating the Celtics. I had the Bucks beating the Celtics, and Stu had the Celtics over the Bucks. So shout out to Stu for getting the Celtics for winning that one. He's looking good with that. In the West, not so great for you and I, Woods. So you had the Lakers beating the Nuggets, and so did I. Of course, we know that, as I said, Wolves and Mavs. So Stu, you had the Nuggets over Golden State. So you're obviously pretty high on Denver getting there. So probably looked a little bit better than our Lakers picks. Woods, I know you were really high on the Lakers going into the season, right? So what do you reckon happened to them this year?
I mean, they had a decent team, right? Obviously they weren't that far off in that series versus Denver. I know it was 4-1, but so many of the games were decided in the last little period. I think they're just missing something there to take them to the next level. But I just thought after some of the moves they made in the offseason, they would be able to actually elevate. And look, the Western Conference was strong this year, with the record that they had. You slide them into the East, they come, third seed, maybe fourth seed, right? I don't know the exact numbers, but tough Western Conference this year. We didn't expect the likes of OKC, Minnesota, and stuff to perform the way they did. And if not even the biggest OKC fan would have, Stewie we have here, would have said that they would have qualified first in the West. So all these other contenders came into the West, made life harder for the Lakers.
Fair call. So, look, the finals winners, obviously that's to be confirmed. So, Woods, you had Lakers over Bucks. I had Bucks over Lakers, and Stu had Nuggets over Celtics. So, look, at least Stu's going to get one of those right. We'll see, obviously, who's going to be playing the Celtics, and we will talk a little bit about that. So, all right, so then we named our play-in and our playoff teams in the East and the West. So maybe I'll start with the play-in teams there. So in order in the East, it was Philadelphia, Miami, Chicago, and the Hawks. So you guys both got one right in terms of order. I got none right. So Woods, in order, you had Nets, Hawks, Bulls, which is the one you got right there, and Pacers. So you had the Pacers just sneaking in. Stu, you had... In fact, I was wrong. I got one right. Stu, you didn't get any right. So Stu, you had Hawks, Bulls, Pacers, and Nets. I had Pacers. I had Heat. So an amazing prediction by myself, picking the Heat to again make the play-in and looking good. So I'll pat myself on the back for that. I'll probably pick that one again already next year, even though I don't know who they're going to get. Nuts and Nets, if I can say that right, and Bulls to make up that. So, I guess that was a little bit harder doing that. In terms of the West, so the Lakers playing teams in order were the Lakers, Pelicans, Kings, and Golden State. So a little bit of a surprise, obviously, with Lakers and Golden State. Woods and Stu both got one in order. So, and you both had the Pels. So you both had the Pels, what's that, in eighth place there. So you both had that right. Woods, the order of your West players, you had Clippers, Pels, Grizz, and Wolves. So you had the Wolves just sneaking in. I had OKC, way off on that, Clippers, Pelicans, and Sacramento. So for some reason, I can't see Dallas on my list, so not quite sure what happened there, given they're only one win away from the NBA Finals. And Stu, you had Clips, you had Pels in right order. You had the Mavs down there in the Grizz. So equally with your one, Stu, you didn't have Minnesota. So I'll take the floor first and say why I didn't have Dallas. So I guess looking back at it, I wasn't too high on them at that time at the start of the season. I just wasn't quite sure about the Kyrie and Luka mix. Didn't feel like their depth was amazingly good. So, look, we know they really bolstered their team at the trade deadline. They brought, PJ Washington, they brought in Gafford. They had guys like probably Dante Exum, who probably was a little bit better than we all were maybe expecting and fit well into that team. So that's my reason for Dallas. I'll tell you what, if they go to the finals and end up winning, I'm going to look like an absolute goose. So I'm kind of hoping even more that Minnesota win this one. Stu, give us your reasons for Minnesota.
All right, I've got a bit of a confession to make. So while I was putting together my list, I was kind of trying to multitask, looking after the kids, trying to do work at the same time. And I legitimately forgot Minnesota existed when I was doing the list. And when it got to the point where you asked the question, do you not have Minnesota in your top 10? I was like, oh, crap. And I just doubled down on it and went, nah, they're not going to make it. I knew they'd be better than they were, but I just kind of hoped that they'd fail.
Very cool. I appreciate the honesty on that one as well. So, nice. Well, the next ones we have were kind of some unique ones. So we picked the Hawks wins total and we picked the OKC wins total in honour of our teams there. So we'll start off with the lowly Hawks. We know it wasn't a great season. Woods, it might be funny that we actually saw them beat potentially the NBA champion this season in that amazing game in the ACL this year. But in terms of wins, the Hawks won 36, so quite a bit under what we thought. You guys both had 43, so you were both the closest there. So even you guys being closest were still 7 off. I had 45, so I was 9 wins off. So had the little homer hat on there. Look, there was a lot of injuries. I'm not going to use it as an excuse. Teams do have injuries. I just felt some of ours were quite crucial. We saw towards the end of the year when they were fighting for the playoffs, they had 3 of their probably best 5 players not playing. So not an excuse, but it may be a reason, I guess, if anything. So I'll throw it to you for this one, Woods. Look, 36 wins, pretty disappointing. Are we going to bounce back and get over that next season?
Yeah, definitely. I think so. I mean, a big problem this year was our inability to defend, right? The teams are putting large scores on us, even though our offense clicked. I've said it before, you think a guy like Quinn Snyder, who did such a great job in Utah, would have brought some of those defensive principles. But it's also the cattle that you've got,
Do you think Quinn needs to change his glasses up next season, Wood? So he had those nice, fancy-looking red ones there. Maybe he needs to switch up his glasses and bring us a bit of luck there.
Anything for better luck, man. But yeah, hopefully we can. I mean, Alex Sarr might be an option to add there, which will help on that side of things. So
maybe.
Let's see.
Right, OKC, Stu. So you're probably happy that you're a bit off on this one. So OKC, 57 wins. I still had to actually double check. Did they really win 57 this year? So Woods, you were the closest. You had 44. Stu and I both had 43. So look, we both had them.
I had 44.
Oh, you're 44 as well? Okay. Well, I need to fact check that one. Yeah. Do you recall what...
I remember laughing about this because we had the same thing, Woody. We had
you did have a few similar.
Yeah, we did actually.
Yeah.
Do you recall how many they won last year, Stu? Was it like 41 or?
I want to say 40.
40.
So what a massive improvement there. I mean, to get more than 15 wins in a row, like 15 wins from the season before, is a massive achievement there. So. Yeah, I mean, next year I'd say we'll all be picking with something with starting with a 5, I would have thought, if they can keep the core of this team together. So, and look, that probably prompts me to skip down the list a little bit, but go on to the Coach of the Year. So it's your boy, Stu, Mark Daignault, the one that people say you could probably walk past him at the local shopping centre and you wouldn't even recognise him. I think I've heard that one sort of mentioned a bit. So that was a great pick from yourself with that one. Would you had Eric Spoelstra? So you were going a little bit all out on Miami. Do I have to tell everyone who mine was?
Yes.
Yep.
I had Monty Williams. So
Detroit.
Wow. So I think when I was doing that, I forgot that there was 30 other coaches there to choose from, sort of thing. So I think my theory on that was, they brought him in on that massive contract. They were so bad last year. Surely they could, increase their wins total by 10, 12 games or something maybe. Obviously it didn't happen. They had a bit of bad luck during the season and also a pretty flawed roster. So, yes, that's why we come back and we have the full disclosures with these. That was a pretty bad one there. Tell us a little bit about your coach there, Stu.
Look, he's a people's player coach. Sorry, I should say. Like he's just a guy who manages players really well. I mean, clearly from talking to reporters and stuff, he understands the X's and O's. But I think, he just did a really great job of integrating a lot of the bench guys, certainly in the regular season, not so much in the playoffs. I think he was out-coached in the playoffs quite comfortably, unfortunately. But no, look, he seems to be a guy that the players like to play for. And, certainly done a great job with developing, guys like Jalen Williams and obviously bringing Chet in for his first year. It'd be interesting to see what happens in the off-season with guys like Josh Giddey, but we'll see how that goes.
Will he be getting a Christmas card from Gordon Hayward, do you think, this year?
No.
No, fair enough. That one didn't quite work out, and I think the team's been pretty honest with how they sort of felt about that one there. So, all right, that's a little OKC wrap. So we did who we thought was going to have the worst record in the NBA. So that was, of course, Detroit. We all had Washington. So if I remember rightly, I think Washington won one more than Detroit. Am I right with that? Right. So, look, we were pretty close with that. That sort of came down to, towards the end of the season there. I mean, Detroit, yeah, it was a pretty dreadful season. Let's be honest there, and they can only go up from there.
The thing is, though, Robbie, when you look at it, like Detroit had a 28-game losing streak in that season, and they were still only one game. They were only one game behind.
How do you lose 28 games? That's ridiculous, right? Yeah. No, good call. All right, so Rookie of the Year. So this is one where probably Stu might need to hang his head in shame a little bit. So, of course, we know it was Wemby that won it, right? Woods and I picked that. We knew he was going to win it. Stu, would you like to tell the viewers and the listeners who you had for Rookie of the Year?
Yep, I tried to be cute with this one and go with Scoot Henderson. Look, a lot of it was, talking with Nath, a lot of the stuff he was reading on a lot of the Spurs forums and stuff were all around them maybe sort of easing Wemby into the league, maybe not giving him the same sort of minutes. And I had the same rationale with this as I did with my most improved player pick. Someone from Portland has to be decent, and I thought it would be Scoot. And the good thing is, though, if you look at the last month of the year, he averaged 19.4, 9.7, and 3.4 rebounds. So, the big thing for him is just turnovers.
Yeah,
he's just got to figure out the turnovers.
Hey, Woods, he was one of the more disappointing players we saw in those 5 games we saw live, right?
Yeah.
Scoot Henderson, he didn't seem to have that great IQ about him, which is something you obviously want from your point guard there. But no, you're right, though, Stu. He did finish off the season a bit better. But any comments on that one, Woods?
Yeah, I just think it's not easy to be a starting point guard in this league, especially if you're thrown into a really poor team like Portland, right? And the kind of reckless abandon that he plays with, a bit like the guy whose jersey you're wearing at the moment, Dewey, it's not easy, especially in today's NBA, to pick things up early. So all hope is not lost. As Dewey said, I had him in my fantasy team. So for that last little period of the season, we saw him show some promise. And I think give him a few years to develop, and I think the future still looks bright for Scoot Henderson.
Yeah, no, good call. All right, so 6th man of the year. So I hope everyone's comfortable. This is my moment to shine here. This is the one I'm sort of most proud of all my predictions. Naz Reid, I think I might have had him MVP as well, so I was maybe a little bit off on that one. But Naz Reid, honestly, I felt like most casual fans had no clue who this guy was at the start of the year. So he's definitely someone that's a lot more well-known now. So I talked about my love for him early. I've been onto a few of these ones earlier, right, Woods? You're talking Jack McVeigh in the NBL, Naz Reid, some of these sort of guys that have been a little bit, ahead of sort of getting in before they became real popular guys. So,
like Torian Prince becoming an all-star, right?
Well, that was one. Jalen Johnson's going to become an all-star, so that'll make up for that one. Yeah,
no,
I called that one early too.
I got to agree.
No, I like you bringing up the Torian Prince one. That's good. Just keep me on my toes. So look, Naz Reid won it. You guys both had the second place guy, I believe, in Malik Monk.
Yep.
So I thought that was really good, actually. It's a pretty hard one to pick 6th man of the year. I remember when I sat down at the start of last season, I'm like, man, 6th man of the year, most improved. Some of those sort of awards are really hard. So yeah, shout out to all of us for getting those guys there. We then went on to most improved. So we know Tyrese Maxey won that. I'm definitely going to remember this for next season because it's always going to be a star who basically turns into a little bit more than a star. So I don't know what I was doing. We all kind of had a similar theory there. I had Naz Reid, just, why not sort of thing. You had Jonathan Kuminga, who, look, both him and Naz Reid did improve. There's no doubt about it. Stu, you had a good pick as well. Shaden Sharp had a lot of time with injury, but he started off that first half of the year really good. He was the guy I think I drafted in literally all 4 of my fantasy teams there, along with Naz Reid, and he was looking really good there. So maybe he's someone that could win it in future years, but I do think it's going to be one of those awards. So I don't know, one of you guys throw a name at me. Who's someone that was almost a bit of a star this year? It could have been just below the All-Star that you think might go up that could win it next year. Anyone come to mind?
Derrick White.
Yeah, that's a great call.
Yeah.
Could he improve, to become a 20-point guy, 22, 23-point guy? I don't know, and
possibly.
I mean, the only thing that will probably hold him back is just the sheer volume of talent that the Celtics have got. If he was the number 2 or number 3 guy on another team, he could easily be that guy.
Yeah. I'm going to even throw one at you and sticking with some of my Detroit picks. Someone like Cade Cunningham. So he goes a little bit of a level above and he can average 24 points for the season. Detroit get a bit of a boost of the wins. He could be someone, he might be on the fringe of an all-star selection maybe. So
that's a good shot. Actually, your boy out in OKC, J-Dub as well. You know what I mean? Giddy's gone. There's going to be some more opportunities for him.
Hey, Giddy's gone. Where's he gone?
I mean, he's more than likely going to be gone, right? Which means that, someone's going to make up that 10 points a game or whatever it is,
Yeah.
And who knows, J-Dub could he's on that trajectory, right? So
fair call.
I've got
so 2 more predictions.
I've got another one that we might have even potentially started it in these playoffs. What about someone like Andrew Nembhard?
Yeah, definitely. Does he need to maybe have one more really good year and then sort of the year after type thing and judging in that theory with Maxi? But no, he's someone else that's become a bit of a household name with the way he's played in these playoffs. So good call. Right, we've got 2 to go. Defensive Player of the Year. So, look, none of us got these. Of course, Rudy Gobert, a.k.a. Rudy Gobert, as I like to say, won it. There's a few people that maybe, especially ex-players that maybe think he's not a good defender. So it's interesting hearing some of that talk this week. Would you had Anthony Davis? I had Wemby, so I think Wemby wasn't a bad one there. And Stu had Bam. So am I right in thinking that all 4 of those guys made the defensive All-NBA defensive team?
I think they did, man. I think
they did, which is a great effort. I know Nath mentioned this today, so we should briefly talk about this. I was pretty much hating that All-NBA defensive team when it came out, and every single player was a big man. So there's those 4 wins, and if you can maybe check who the 5th one was.
Jones.
Okay, so Herb Jones was the point guard of the team, basically, right? And then you had AD, Wemby, Bam, and Rudy Gobert. So I don't like that. I like seeing some guards make it, put in a Drew Holiday, put in a Derrick White, these sort of guys that I don't like it. I know we're a traditionalist with these sort of things, but why mix this stuff up? Why have a team when you're picking 5 big guys that you're kind of looking at block shot stats and those sort of things? So,
2 guards, 2 forwards, and a center.
And wasn't the third team filled with guards as well? Didn't I seem to remember that was like very guard heavy as well. So
second team was Caruso, Holiday, Jalen Suggs, Derrick White, and Jaden McDaniels.
Yeah, interesting. Hey, by the way, did you guys see that there was a voter who pretty much voted Domas Sabonis for like all these different categories? So you got MVP votes. He voted him for most improved. So everyone's like dying to know who this voter was that voted. It wasn't me. We know I'm a fan of Sabonis there. But yeah, he voted for him basically for, I think he was second on the ballot for MVP. This voter that's trusted with one of these votes that can pretty much determine people's livelihoods and contracts, as we've seen with some of these ones with guys like Tyrese Halliburton's due to get a big pay out. So that was a bit crazy. And then, look, we've got our last one, which is a bit of a fun prediction that we made. So the question was, who plays more games, Zion, Ben Simmons, or Kawhi? So the winner of this one, none of us got it, was Zion. So Zion played 70 games, which was pretty huge. Kawhi played 68, not far off. Ben Simmons played 15 games. So we all had Ben Simmons. So I think we put a little bit too much faith in those, pre-season videos that we see and Ben Simmons in the gym and everything. So I don't think we'd ever make that prediction again, right, boys?
No. So what's that, about $3 million a game he played?
Crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. Like, do you want a couple of crazy stats? So he's now played in just over 23% of all games the last 3 seasons and less than 51% of all the games since he was drafted. So basically he's in for one, out for the other.
Hey, he wears some good jackets though, right?
He better make the most of this next year, though, because I'll tell you what, he's not going to see a big contract again.
No, 100%. He'll have to really be humbled, I guess, won't he, if he has to, go to a team that, he has to really sort of struggle to get on that team and take a low contract. So, all right, fellas, that was really fun. As I said, it was good to go through those. We'll always do this going forward, right, Woods? Maybe we'll make this an annual thing, Stu. We get you as that third sort of one to do these. And it's fun looking back, seeing, probably our worst ones were, Stu not having Minnesota, me not having Dallas. Woods, what was your worst one? We've got a name and shame.
Lakers, man. Just my all
Lakers.
For the Lakers,
Yeah, true. Lakers actually winning the whole thing, maybe. Yeah, we could maybe say that. So, maybe we'll think of a few more other little categories we can sort of put in there next year as well. So maybe we could do some fun ones, like how many times Luka complains during a game. Like that could be one we put in. Give me another random one. What's a little fun one we could put on there?
How many wedgies in the year?
Wedgies, yeah. How many Miles Turner trade rumors there are? I don't know. Some sort of stuff like that. We'll see.
How many Draymond suspensions?
Yes.
Yeah,
someone put a video of basically all his discretions over the last few years. I saw put on social media last night. It's unbelievable. Some of the stuff he's done is just crazy. But anyway, all right, that's fun. So let's move on to these NBA conference finals. So when I sort of organised the run sheet a few days ago, I was hoping that there would still be a series alive, and we're in luck there. So maybe we'll start with that one. So Dallas had a chance to get the sweep out and sweep Minnesota. Good win by Minnesota today, so that series is now 3-1. Wanted to get some thoughts from, I guess, both of you guys on that game. So maybe we'll start with a special guest in Stu. What were your thoughts on Minnesota finally getting that win today? And have we got a series now?
Look, it's still a long way back. I definitely want to believe that Minnesota can challenge for this series, but I mean, we've seen in the past, obviously, there's a reason that nobody's ever come back from 3-0 down. It would be amazing to see, though, and I would absolutely love it. Certainly because Dallas took OKC out of the playoffs, I'd be more than happy for Minnesota to do the same to them. I think the really big thing that we've seen so far in this series is just how much this Luka-Kyrie pairing has worked. I didn't think it would work anywhere near this well, and they're both just stone-cold killers going into that fourth quarter.
Except for today, right? I think they shot maybe early 30s between them sort of thing. But yeah, you're right. And there's such good closers, aren't they? Any one of those guys can step up in their fourth quarter and beat it. Here's one you may know, Stu, or you may have an idea. Do you know how many of these 3-0 series have ended up going to 7? Obviously, we know it's never come back. Okay, Woods is on that one. Do we know when that most recently happened? Or?
Yes, last season.
Was there one last season, was there?
Yeah, 3-0, Miami versus Boston, right?
Oh, shit, you're right, it was.
And let me tell you something, man. Last year, when Game 4 was on, and, Boston beat Miami, Robbie sent a text to our group chat going, Celtics in 7, didn't you? And you kept going on about it. I'm like, nah, that's not happening, right? And I told you, going into Game 7 last year, man, put your money where your mouth, you should have put your money where your mouth is, right? So I'm telling you now, you're not a betting man, brother. I know you're not a betting man, but the same text today was like, Wolves in 7, right? So go out to the TAB and put some money where your mouth is.
What would something like that be paying, do you reckon, Woods, for the two Wolves to win in 7?
Long odds, man. Long odds. In fact, talk to Stewie. I'll tell you exactly what the odds are.
Sounds good. So interesting it's happened 4 times.
Yeah, I remember one Dallas and Portland from the mid 2000s where, that one ended up going 7 and everyone started panicking.
Yeah.
I'm sure it was Dallas was up 3-0 and nearly choked that one away. So, yeah, I didn't realise it was 4 times, and I completely forgot about the one from last season.
And look, Stu, you said it in the group chat today as well. Someone's going to do this eventually, right? This is not going to be a stat that goes on forever. So why not the Minnesota Timberwolves? They've got the next game at home, right? So they could potentially get that one, get it back to 3-2, and then I feel like all the pressure then shifts onto Dallas, right? What's Luka's temperament going to be? Is Kyrie going to hold up emotionally and stuff? They've got a few little sort of injuries, I guess. Lively missed today. They're trying to get Kleber back in there. So there's a few little lineup adjustments there. But what are those odds for us, Woods?
Just over $5, which isn't great. You'd think they'd be
really
lower, right? Yeah.
I guess it would have been paying a lot more before they won today. But, yeah, interesting. So
I think you made a good point there about Lively being out. That combination of Gafford and Lively have been awesome. They're saying Lively's Tyson Chandler 2.0, right? And you can see the similarities there.
Yeah.
But losing him is big because Dwight Powell's just been, warming the end of the bench. I said today on our group chat, Maxi Kleber, they dusted the cobwebs off him and brought him on the court. He hasn't played in how many months now? So changing the rotation and bringing in those guys, that definitely had an impact today on them. I know, as you said, Kyrie and Luka didn't have the impact that they had in that fourth quarter as they had in previous games. But let's not understate the importance of Lively to that lineup. So if he comes back in a couple of days, I expect Dallas to close it out in 5.
Let me ask you guys both about Minnesota, right? So I think Big Cat and Edwards have both copped a little bit of flack this series. Now, I know Big Cat was really struggling from the field. He turned that around today. It was quite good from outside and everything like that. What are your thoughts on both those guys, Wood, so far, Big Cat and Ant? And I think that's maybe the thing that gives me some hope. If they can lift a little bit, that can sort of fire them up. But what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, look, I think the team goes as far as those two. Obviously, there's Mike Conley, Rudy Gobert, the other guys, right? But these two are the main guys on that team. But what you got to think about is playing deep into the season, right? A lot of these guys are on holidays by this time of the year, right? I mean, none of them have actually had to sustain this level of play into late May or early June. This is new to them, right? So this is going to be a good learning experience for both of them, whatever happens in this series. And I think next year they'll be a little bit more prepared for a deep playoff run because 82 games, then you have the grind of each round of the playoffs. You can have fatigue come into play here, and these guys, their bodies aren't accustomed to it. So I think they're going to learn from that. But I've been pretty impressed with both of them. The fact that I had Minnesota so low on the totem pole, a couple of reasons. I didn't think that Rudy Gobert and Karl-Anthony Towns would be able to coexist. In the regular season, we saw they found a way to make that work. And I didn't think that Ant Edwards would be able to take his game to the heights he's taken them to. So, yeah.
Hey, Stu, question on Ant Edwards. Is he slightly overrated?
I mean, the only thing really that I think is holding him back right now is the turnovers. I mean, he's had 16 turnovers in 4 games so far. The shot selection, I mean, it's a little bit Kobe-esque at times. There's a few times I'd like to see him maybe make a few extra passes. But again, his assist numbers in the series so far have been pretty decent.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, you could make an argument that he's maybe slightly overrated, but I think at the same time, I'd probably say he's roughly sort of rated where he is.
Yeah, he's become a bit of a media darling, though, hasn't he? I guess, especially throughout this class. I think the Americans are wanting that next, American hope as well. We know the league's dominated now by the non-Americans, as we even saw in the MVP voting there. But no, I think you're right. Probably properly rated. He's a great player, no doubt about it.
Did want to just quickly pick up on one of the things as well that you were talking about, Woods, as far as like for Minnesota not being used to the deep playoff run. The other thing that I guess that really people aren't talking about is the fact that 7-game series against Denver that they had previously, I mean, that was an absolute slugfest. So, for them to come out of that game 7 down 20 and win it, that's got to take a toll mentally. Like, obviously you're excited, use a lot of adrenaline, but they've obviously used up a lot of that there.
For sure.
So that's a big thing. The other thing I think that's the big key for Minnesota coming back in this, Karl-Anthony Towns needs to cut out a lot of the stupid fouls. Like, there was so many times today, coming over the back for his third, the one that he committed 40 feet from the basket for his first, putting guys like Luka and Kyrie on the line. That's the last place you want those guys to be, resting, accumulating points, getting confidence. It's crazy.
That wouldn't have looked good for him today had they have lost with him fouling out early, right? That would have been a pretty bad way to win the season. So, no, I'm really looking forward to the next game. It's going to be weird not having a game tomorrow. So, obviously that game 5 will be Friday. I should say the time of recording, it's Wednesday, the 29th of May. So, looking forward to Friday. I think there might be something else happening Friday, Woods, but I'm trying not to talk about that day too much. We'll be getting another year older. But, look, let's talk a little bit about the East, right? So, we know Boston's through. For those that haven't seen Boston swept Indiana 4-0, but strangely enough, Indiana had leads in 3 of those 4 games. I believe ESPN have that percentage win rating type thing. So in 3 of those 4 games, they were a 90% chance to win in the fourth quarter. So quite remarkable that they did cough the games up. Felt a little bit sorry for them, I've got to say. Halliburton missing the last 2 games. Felt like a few things went Boston's way, and it's kind of felt that way in general throughout these playoffs. I think Boston have had a little bit of luck getting there. I know you've got to have your own luck, and I know their big man's been out there. But let's start with you, maybe Stu, on this one. What were your thoughts on that series? And have Boston have they been challenged so far this playoffs?
No, I mean, obviously, if you look at it, no Butler, no Rozier against Miami, no Jared Allen, Donovan Mitchell, and Karis LeVert missed games late in that series with Cleveland. I think if you look at it, the fact that Indiana kept those games so close, I mean, they should have won game 1. They should have won game 3. They were a bloody good chance in game 4 as well. So I just think it just comes down to poise. You've got a lot of guys that have been there before, Tatum and Brown. Horford's obviously very experienced as well. Drew Holiday's a champion. That's all it comes down to, is just that little bit of extra poise in, the final few minutes of a game and making plays. And we saw Drew Holiday yesterday. You're coming down looking to tie the game, and he, I think it was at Nembhard, I think he picked clean. Like, you don't take Drew Holiday on. You just make the pass, look for a better shot. So, it just comes down to poise. They haven't been challenged yet, I don't think, properly. Yeah. Whoever they get, Minnesota or Dallas, presumably Dallas, I think will definitely give them a very, very stern test, though.
I think personally, Drew Holiday's been the big one for me in these last few series. We know that Jaylen Brown was the Eastern Conference MVP. I think they're calling that award. I know it's a fairly new award. I think he had 5 of the 9 votes. Tatum got the other 4. But for me, Holiday was huge. His scoring's been good. His 3-point shot has really improved this year, I reckon. We know how good his defense is. He had a couple of games where he sort of broke up passes towards the end of the games and that. Give me a couple of thoughts on Drew Holiday, Woods.
I mean, this is why they got him, right? He's been there, he's experienced.
He loves it there too, right?
Yeah, he does. And from all reports, he's really enjoyed himself being part of that culture there in Boston. And to Stewie's point, poise. Basketball's a game. Doesn't matter who's winning at the end of 48 minutes. Not who's winning throughout the game, who's going to win at the end of 48 minutes. And the poise shown by the Celtics and the experience that they have. It also, highlighted some of the inexperience there of the Indiana team. But they'll be really happy if you told them at the start of the season, you're going to be in the Eastern Conference Finals, right?
Yeah.
They would have been really happy. But it's been a very, very weak Eastern Conference this year, right? We know it, right? And the road for Boston to get to the NBA Finals has been a fairly, easy one. They haven't been tested as much as they could. And this is where someone like Dallas, who really had to work hard.
Or Minnesota.
Yeah. Both who've had to work really hard to get there, will be more, battle tested in that finals. And I would say whoever comes through, most likely Dallas would be the favourites in the finals because of that reason. Yeah.
Let's stick with you there, Woods. You mentioned Indiana before, right? So, yes. Look, amazing effort for them to get through to the conference finals. It was a shame to see Halliburton injured. What do you think this team needs to do next season? I think, like you said, they're going to be pretty thrilled about how the season ended up. They kept Miles Turner when everyone was trying to trade him away for the last few years, and that seemed to work out. But where to next for the Pacers?
I mean, Benedict Mathurin comes back into the fold next year, which is going to be good for them.
And they're signing Pascal Siakam, I think I read today. Like, that's basically all but done, that deal. So
the nucleus is good there, but I think they're very easy to put points on. You think the Hawks are easy to put points on, the Pacers are easy to put points on as well, right? So they need to make a bit more of a commitment to the defensive end. They've got some guys there, that can defend well. Aaron Nesmith, you've got Miles Turner, etc. They've got some good defensive players, but as a whole, if they can work on being able to stop teams a little bit better, that'll allow them to elevate their game to the next level. Maybe look in the free agent market for some role players, Herb Jones type.
I'll put Stu on the spot there. Either name a player or a position that you think they might need to strengthen for Indiana for next season. What sort of something they need to get, do you think?
Well, I mean, before I even get into that, the one thing I did want to just say is, I hope we're not overreacting to their result this season, because obviously if you look at, Boston's run against teams that were injured, Indiana's run was probably even better. You had no Giannis, no Lillard in round one. Yep. You had no Randall, no Robinson. You had Anunoby out for most of the series. Brunson got injured late. Bogdanovic, Hart got injured late. So Indiana's run was probably even more fortunate than Boston's were. So,
good call. Yeah.
So yeah, look, I think they still probably need to shore up their big man stock. I think Isaiah Jackson was really good. I really liked the punch that he gave off the bench, and Turner had, probably one of the best seasons that he's had. I would still like to see them, I guess, maybe even have the option to push Siakam down to the 3 and sort of get some sort of really quality 4. I don't know who that is, but they need to shore that up a little bit. Their backcourt looks fine. They've got some really quality players there. If Halliburton's fit, Nembhard looks really good. Naismith was pretty solid as well. McConnell, again, had some great moments. But, yeah, I just worry about that 4-5 position a bit.
Let's finish off before we go to Classic Packs with one more prediction, right? So, what's going to happen firstly in the West, and then what's your prediction for the final? So we'll start with you, Woods.
Dallas in 5, maybe 6, right?
Yeah.
And then Dallas to win it all in 6, I'm going to say. Yeah.
Okay, Stu?
I think Dallas in 6. I think Minnesota probably takes care of business at home, but yeah, I can't see them getting the second one away. I've got them beating Boston in 7. I would love to see that series go 7, and then something crazy happen in the fourth quarter of Game 7, whether it be a shootout between Doncic and Tatum, or a key defensive play, or something big.
Yeah, good call. One thing I was thinking as well, what is it going to be? At least a 9-day break for Boston now, so they've got a real chance to get Kristaps Porzingis healthy, which is huge for them. Look, I'm going to say Minnesota in 7. Woods, I'll stick with that bold prediction I made today. I do think Boston are going to go all the way, though. So, yeah, I think Boston in 7. Hopefully, and look, to be honest, I think even if it is Dallas, I could see it going to a 7-game series. I hope we get a really competitive final series this year and get some good games, and it does go the distance there. So it's going to be strange, depending on how long this West series goes for. There's going to be some games off, which you think you'll lose a bit of momentum, don't you? Now it's been so good having that game every day, but yeah, good opportunity for Boston to get completely right there. So, all right, that was fun, fellas. Well, let's finish off with something we all love doing, right? Some classic packs. I know Stu's going to host this for us today. Stu, can you guarantee that this will be a better pack than the one that Woods and I pulled last week? Because I still don't know who that guy was from Utah. I have no idea who that guy was. Never heard of him. Can't even remember his name now. But yeah,
Eric Johnson.
Okay.
I do.
Who is
I know
he?
him. I know him, but I didn't know the Spurs guy, that random Serbian bloke that you. I've never heard of
Zarko
him.
Paspajali or whatever. Yeah, I don't know where I pulled that one out of. Yeah.
It's been some random ones. So, yeah, we'll see whether or not we can get something a bit better. I've gone the 91-92 Skybox, one of my absolute favourite series in terms of the artwork. Skybox early 90s was always amazing.
Yeah.
I was actually thinking back to the Delaney Rudd pull from the pack that we did the first one. So, see if we can get something like that. But
Hey,
yeah,
would like to give you a chance here or something, or can I just pipe up if I know it? What do you want me to do?
Man, settle down.
All right.
I got you, man. You know I got you.
Okay, let's bring it on.
All right, let's get
Probably
that nice
not,
crisp.
but anyway, yeah.
Look at that.
That nice crisp sort of pack. Oh, they're so good. I love these.
And let's say this pack has not been open for 35 years.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah.
Absolutely crazy. All right. Well, we're starting off with a very quality player. You could say he's three-dimensional, 3D.
Dennis Scott.
Oh, damn. Already
Dennis
beaten.
Scott. Very, very good.
Love that guy. These are cool cards. Though.
Yeah,
Can you show us
awesome.
one at the back of one of those as well, Stu? We got a headshot as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ooh,
There's
a
a lot
full
of those
action shot.
ones.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah,
nice little
a lot
outfit
of
he's
good-
rocking there.
A lot
Nice.
of great poses on these ones. Now, the second guy, this is a bit of a random one. He actually played, I believe, in the Indonesian league at one stage. He is one of the only, I think it's the 48th pick in one of these drafts. We would best know him for not quite being able to see properly, but being able to see properly in a dunk comp.
Oh, D Brown.
Cedric Sabalas.
D Brown.
Cedric Ceballos.
Okay.
That's a good answer though as well because
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice. Indonesia,
Oh,
right?
Yeah, he played in the Indonesian league, I think, for a very small period of
How
time.
much would he have dominated that league back then? My goodness.
And incredible. Okay, we've got a bit of a random one here. So this is a Washington Bullets guard. His surname is the language that we speak.
Jojo
English.
English? Ooh.
Not Jojo English. Close.
So not Alex. He didn't play for Washington.
It is his first is basically initials though for his first part of his name.
What number?
Number 14. I'm not sure if that's going to help, to be honest.
Like AJ English or something?
Yes. Oh, well done. AJ English.
Nice. Wow.
Very, very
What can you tell us about him, Stu?
Not a whole heap, unfortunately. He was a rookie, so 8.8 points a game in his rookie season.
Not too bad.
He had pretty decent numbers, actually. And I tell you what, boy, can he rock a bow tie.
Oh, wow.
Oh,
Good.
nice.
All right. Okay, so this is one of these cards that you probably remember these ones. They had a lot of the like award winners or top such and such in a particular thing. Top rebounding guard. This is a Washington Bullets guard. He's certainly not. He's not a runner.
Darryl Walker.
Darryl Walker.
Hey, Woods, are you playing this game or what?
Come on, man. I'm getting all right. Yeah.
Hey, what was his average?
Average rebounds was 7 a game.
Wow, that's solid.
So, all right, I'll tell you what. Let's do a little bit of trivia without notice then. See if you guys can give me the other 4 players in the top 5.
Guards.
Rebounding guards in that time.
Yep,
Not
and
Fat Lever.
No, I was going to say don't overthink it.
Gary Payton.
Michael Jordan.
Jordan's number 4. Peyton's not on it.
Drexler.
Drexler's number 3.
Magic Johnson.
Magic Johnson, number 2. And number 5, I think, is, if I remember correctly, is one of your favourite players from that era.
Mitch Richmond.
Mitch Richmond.
Nice.
So there you go.
Nice.
Very
Rock.
good. Very good 5. All right. Moderately key part of the bench during the Bulls three-peat. He's a
Okay.
big man.
Will Perdue.
Not Will Perdue. He's not. He's not a
Williamson.
not a
Okay.
BWS.
Okay.
All right.
John Sally.
No, that was the second three-peat.
That was the second three-peat.
Yeah, true.
Right. Here's your big clue. He's a lefty.
Oh, I know who it is. I'm just having a blank now. Oh.
James Edwards? No.
You could
No.
could say he's royalty.
Oh, Stacey King.
Stacey King.
Stacey
We
King.
should have known that one, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you
Look at
what,
those
look at
cards,
this.
they're great.
Look at that from action shot.
Nice.
So
Shout out to the Stacey King podcast as well, man, where he covers the Bulls.
He always
and
gives a
stuff.
good hot take, doesn't he?
Great job, yeah.
Ooh, now I think you guys had this guy last week, if I remember correctly.
Oh, not that Utah guy again.
No, it's
I've
Orlando.
forgotten his name already. Yeah. Michael Ainsley.
Michael Ainsley. There we go.
I don't even remember what happened yesterday, man.
Rocking the 45.
Yeah. Bo Outlaw,
Okay.
I think, rocked that number in later years, didn't he?
He did, yeah. He did.
Mm.
Okay, Woody, I apologise. This is very much a clue for one, Robbie. This is a player that went on Survivor.
Cliff Robinson.
Oh, very nice. Very nice. And I tell you what, this is one of the best front. Look at that for an action
Oh,
shot.
that is a good one, yeah.
Very
Big
good,
rest in
yeah.
peace to Uncle Cliffy there. That is a nice card, isn't
Gone
it?
too soon, Uncle Cliff. Man.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, one of the purest shooters of all time. And if I tell you the team, it'll give it away. But certainly an incredible free throw shooter as well.
Reggie Miller.
Mark Price.
Mark Price,
Legend.
the former coach of the South Dragons.
That's right, very short term. I think I've told you that story before, Woods. I think it was NBA Showdown 94 that I used to play on my Mega Drive. You literally couldn't miss Mark Price. So I'd play with my mates and we would fight over who was going to be Cleveland because just wanted to play with them and shoot threes with Mark Price. So, yeah, no, he was a great shooter.
Very good. All right, we do have our first big white stiff of the packet. This is a bloke that he's currently playing for Charlotte, but he also had stints with Philadelphia. And
Mike
I think
Kaminsky.
he also played. No, I think he also played for Utah. Kaminsky's, that's a good guess, actually. Not sure if the number's going to help. Number 45.
Yes, I do know who this is.
Similar surname to Hannibal. What was Hannibal's surname?
Smith.
No, the actual Hannibal.
Like Hannibal Lecter?
Oh,
Sim-
Eric
sim-
Lechner.
Eric
Lechner.
Lechner. Okay, gotcha. Yeah.
There we go.
I thought you were talking Hannibal off the A team, so I had to think a little bit for a while.
Sorry, my bad. My bad. All right, here we go. Trailblazer, not Portland Trailblazer, but a trailblazer in terms of the influx of European players.
Sarunas Marshalonis.
Yeah, boy. Sarunas.
Nice.
Oh,
Remember that card
Jesus
as well.
Christ.
Oh, what do we got there?
Do you want to see the most stereotypical European sort of photo you could see?
I bet it's a terrible jumper as well. Oh, look at that. Wow.
Look at that.
That's great, isn't it?
Oh, dear.
And we mentioned before, Stu, as well, I got to commentate a St Mary's game maybe 2 seasons ago now. His son, Augustus, is playing. So I believe he's a junior this year for St Mary's. So hopefully that's a name we might see make the NBA in future years.
Beautiful. Love that. Okay, you guys are going to like this card. Do you remember they had that random, like the GQ photos where it was just like
Yes,
guys dressed
Kevin Willis.
expensive? It is Kevin Willis and
Dominique, I remember this card. Yeah.
yeah.
I remember this one. That was great. Yeah. Look at him. Looking smooth there, right?
Sick, man.
Very cool. We got an action shot on the back as well.
actually there is. Well, I'm trying to keep the other card out of the way. There's the action shot.
Look at that.
Oh,
That's
nice.
great. Yeah, that was a
So
good
good.
one, that one.
All right, so we have a Sacramento King. Now, this guy had an incredible start to his career. 18 points a game as a rookie this season. And then Walt Williams got drafted and basically took all his minutes, and he ended up getting traded away.
Travis Best?
Not Travis Best. He
Wayne Coswell?
not Dwayne Causewell. This is like a 6'7" forward.
Right,
He was drafted number 7 in 1990.
Jersey number?
Number 22. That'll give it away, I think. But
Oh, the L Train.
the L Train.
How did I not guess that? One of my favourites.
One of Robbie's favourites.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, you're right. He did sort of start off so well, didn't he? I think it was injuries as well, and I think he just couldn't find his way in that rotation after other drafts. But yeah, nice.
Okay, we've got our first one that I've never heard of. I'm not going to lie. This is I'm assuming he's a forward. Yeah, 6'6" forward for the Utah Jazz. If I give you the number, it'll probably actually give you the wrong. Like it's number 21, but it's not David Benoit.
Yeah, I would have thought that. 21. Whitey?
No, he's an African American, and that, funnily enough, will give you the clue to his surname.
Right.
I feel like I can show you what he looks like without giving you. Where's the camera? Oh, hang on. I got 2 cards coming up. So that's the guy.
Oh, okay.
I'd be very impressed if you've even heard of this guy.
No, I'm going to admit defeat on this one.
Tony Brown.
Tony Brown.
Wow,
Never heard of him.
Okay, no, I couldn't say anything about that guy.
Yeah. All right, now we've got a pair of Miami Heat to wrap things up. So we've got a forward for the Miami Heat. I believe he also played for your Atlanta Hawks during the 1990s.
Willie Burton.
Not Willie Burton.
Oh, Grant Long.
This guy's Grant Long.
Number 43, yep.
Nice. I love those jerseys.
I've got a Glenn Rice one of those. They're awesome jerseys, yeah.
Oh, good. And then we've got probably the easiest one to finish things off, the Cypriot himself.
Oh, DJ Ronnie.
DJ Ronnie Cycli.
What a legend. We've got
these are nice cards.
We've got so many Ronnie Cyclis over the years.
We have, haven't we? The DJ, yeah. Well, that wasn't a bad pack, Stu. That was definitely better than our one last week. It was a random Utah one again, funny enough, but yeah.
Not as many obscure guys. Certainly, really, that's probably the only one with any kind of star power on it. Maybe Mark Price as well. Mark Price was good. Cliffy Robinson. Sabalos, one-time All-Star. So, yeah, it's a bit, not the greatest pack, but certainly, not many no-names.
That was fun. Hey, Woods, better luck next time, bro.
Yeah, I know, man. What can I say?
That was fun.
What can I say?
Cliff Robinson, though.
Yeah, I did. Yeah. And I got Sarunas.
Nice. Appreciate that, Stu. That was fun. Look, before we get into the formalities there, really enjoyed having you back on the show, mate. I think that, we just clicked together really great. Not only the three of us, but also shout out to Nath as well. I see you guys dropped a podcast, I think, yesterday. I haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. So you guys are back, right?
Look, we're kind of, we're trying some things out. I mean, it was a bit of a hiatus. Obviously, a lot of stuff going on. Nathan getting married with Damian Martin as the...
Let's, before we go into the outro, talk a little bit about that, Stu. Talk to us about this wedding, right?
Oh, it was great. An excuse to take a Monday off work is always appreciated as well. But, no, look, they kept it very... They were very true to themselves. It was a very Nathan and Lindsay wedding, I have to say, and I loved that. I love the fact that they did it their way, which is absolutely perfect. We had a great day for it, beautiful weather. The ceremony was beautiful. They did an amazing job with the the area that they had. They decked it out beautifully. Lindsay looked amazing in her dress. Nath, passable.
Tell us about Marto. How amazing, right?
Oh, yeah, it was nice to have Marto's voice. He's every bit as nice away from the TV as you'd expect him to be. Just a real down-to-earth sort of guy. Introduced himself by name, and I'm sitting there fanboying, just going, I know who you are. You're royalty around here. But it was a beautiful day. Really, really nice to spend some time with, not just obviously Nathan Linz, but also our groups of friends as well. It was a beautiful day.
Solid hangover the next morning, or?
No, because it was a work day, so that was probably a good excuse.
Okay.
I was okay.
Good to hear. Nice one, mate. Well, look, just to finish things off, just as I mentioned at the start of the show, please make sure you like, rate, and subscribe on YouTube or wherever you listen to your podcasts. Just a reminder, we can also be followed on X at Throwback Hoops, Instagram, throwback.hoops, and the email address is throwbackhoopspodcast@gmail.com. Woods, why don't you tell people about Patreon rather than me talking again about it?
Look, Patreon is something that we don't demand, but if you guys feel like, pledging your support towards us, jump on Patreon, look for Throwback Hoops, and we appreciate anything that you can contribute towards the show. Obviously, there are some expenses that go into maintaining the show. So it's not a demand, but if you'd like to, we'd appreciate it. Yeah.
Good stuff, Woods. And look, Stu, I know we always will have this question for someone at the end, but where can people sort of, follow your stuff, talk a little bit about the podcast? Where can people listen and hear you guys?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you can find us a lot of the same places as you guys, wherever you sort of listen to your podcast. Just search for the Sport Blokes. You can find us on Twitter at Sport Blokes. Nath promises he's going to start checking our email, sportblokes@gmail.com. We do, I guess, little things that are a bit different, I guess. We did a 3-part series on the history of the trade deadline in the NBA, which was really fun. We've done a lot of things like choke specials, and we looked at the Kardashian curse and a few other curses and things like that. So it's not always just sort of related to the news of the day or the week. We sometimes look at other stuff. We've done some redrafts, including one with you guys, which was really good fun. We'll have to start doing those again soon. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so just chew the fat and talk about anything sport.
Good stuff. Well, no, it's been a pleasure having you back on the show, Stu. Woods, you got anything to take us out?
Really good guests coming on the next couple of weeks. To all our
even better than Stu?
I mean,
it wouldn't be hard.
3 weeks in a row, man. 3 weeks in a row.
We've got a few guests coming up. All right,
yeah,
sounds good.
So look out for that. There's going to be some fun episodes coming up. So, yeah.
Nice one. Well, look, Stu, thanks again. Woods, it's been a pleasure having you. Minnesota in 7, and peace out from the Throwback Hoops group.
See you guys.
Thanks, lads.